For those of you who just want to be rich or financially free, you don't really have to be big to be rich or free. So what you guys, I know you're teaching people, start small. Learn the trade. Learn the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, understand who's for real, who's liars, as you guys know. For those of you who just want to be rich or financially free, you don't really have to be big to be, right?
Yeah, and what Paul is saying, and it's a very different take on things, is he said one of the keys to failure is growth. And people think they have to grow this big business, and we know a lot of people who have come and they said, oh, we're going to create this huge business and it's going to be worldwide, and they haven't even taken the first step yet. So basically what Paul is saying is start small, which is what we always say, whether it's investing or business, is to start small.
Yeah, and the big question is how much is enough? You know, because I think the reason Kim and I are successful is we always started small. Mm-hmm. We actually stay small.
Kitchen table.
And we do keep doing the same thing, but we don't ever try to get big. We got big, but I think we got big by staying small.
We did. I mean, our core group is very small.
Yeah.
And then we license out.
So for those of you who think you have to start some mega company or make millions of dollars, that's not really true.
Yes, and I'll just tell you one interesting statistic, one study that was done, and they found that of the Inc. magazine's fastest growing companies, 2/3 of those companies are out of business in the next 5 to 8 years. So the whole word is growth, 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 growth. Everybody thinks you got to grow, 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 grow. And what Paul is saying, not necessarily so. Really rethink that idea that you have to be big.
Or for ordinary people, that you have to make a lot of money to be rich. That's not true either. I mean, Kim and I tell the story of when we met one of our partners, and that partner thought we were really rich, and we said, no, we only make $120,000 a year. Now I know $120,000 for a lot of people
without working.
Yeah, but that's $120,000 without working and not paying taxes. But she was so appalled because she thought to be rich we had to be making $1 million a year. And all we did was start small, and we stayed small.
Yeah, and our goal wasn't to make millions. Our goal was to be financially free.
Yeah.
And a lot of what Paul is saying is about people being free, is about you having the freedom to choose what you want to do in your life.
Right. So I know $120,000 sounds like a lot of money for many people, especially just starting out. But we never got bigger. We just kept doing the same thing, and now it's in the millions.
Yeah.
But we stayed small. We've never lost money in real estate. We've lost money in business, but not real estate. But we stayed small. So it's very important to understand, because this person was shocked because she and her husband make 2-3 times more than Kim and I make. But I said the difference is we don't work for that money and we don't pay taxes for that. But in her logic system is you had to make millions to be rich. That's not true. So what you guys, I know you're teaching people, is start small. Learn the trade. Learn the good, the bad, the ugly. Understand who's for real, who's liars, as you guys know. There's no scarcity of liars out there,
Yeah.
There's an abundance.
That's for sure.
So anyway, that's why I like what you do. I started off playing Monopoly. Today, I still play Monopoly. I have my big red hotel. I own 5 golf courses, and the hotel is called the Wigwam Resort in Arizona, So I just kind of start small, dream big. So what you guys are doing is giving people the tools, the information, and the most important thing, who's credible, who's full of it. You know what I mean? That's what life's about. You have to have good friends, trustworthy friends, honorable guys, friends. That's what counts. Smart people. Right?
You got to do business with good people, or you can't get good results, right?
Well, it's more than that. It's as my rich dad. I wrote a book that Trump just came out. It's called The Midas Touch, and we talk about, and the Midas Touch is the 5 fingers. The thumb is, do you have the emotional intelligence to handle the ups and downs of life? I've lost millions of dollars, and I still fight back. Why staying small is the next big thing for business. So for all of you there who want to be a startup and want to start the next Amazon or Apple or Google, you don't really have to do that. And Kim and I are living proof of that, right, Kim?
We are. I mean, we didn't have our plan. Let's talk about our investment plan. Our plan was to be financially free. And financially free meant we had more money coming in than was going out.
Yep.
It wasn't to be a mega millionaire. It wasn't to be a billionaire. Actually, none of our goals were money driven. They were always mission driven. But financial freedom was huge for us. So one of the things I want to say is so many people never start because their goal is so big and monumental that they don't know where to begin, and so they just never start.
But anyway, you don't have to be big to be rich and all this and other. That funny thing, too, is the person that brought it in was our ex-partner. And, Kim and I just had very small goals. It was $120,000 a year. Now, for a lot of people, that sounds like a lot of money. And it really is. But it's not like a lot of money. It's not like billions. So our partner says, is that all you guys make is $120,000 a year? And what did you say, Kim? I said, yeah, I mean,
well,
what I said wasn't enough money.
Yeah, but what I said was that's $10,000 a month coming in every month, but our living expenses were $3,000 a month. So right now we are financially free. And this was back in 96, 97.
Yeah, but to her, she was shocked. She says, how can you live on only $120,000 a year? Well, number one, it was called passive income, income from real estate, which means we had no tax on it. So it was $120,000 clear, and her husband's was $350,000 a year, but it was ordinary income. It was income you had to pay tax on, and you had to bust your butt every day. So, ladies and gentlemen, for a lot of people that go, $120,000, man, I'm only making $80,000 a year. It's not that. A lot of it is just how you plan on it. How smart are you? You don't have to make a lot of money to be free, to be rich, and all this. In fact, the old Chinese proverb goes, a wealthy man is a man who has enough. And that's all Kim and I defined, how much was enough. So for us, $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month, tax-free was enough. Right, Kim?
That was enough at that point.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. And I started with, I am a student. I am, as much as I dislike school, I did graduate from a very good school. I never went for my master's because that's not where I was going. And I started taking real estate courses, business courses, and all that. But I never went for my MBA and all that stuff. So the way you start is you decide what you're going to do. So there's 4 basic asset classes. Number 1 is a business. Richest guys in the world are business guys. Steve Jobs, Gates, they all dropped out of school. Disney, Larry Ellison, they all dropped out of school. Branson, he dropped out of school too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're all entrepreneurs. Zuckerberg, he never finished. The other one is real estate. Real estate takes business is the toughest. It is the hardest to make it, and it's tough. Real estate is the second toughest. It takes the most financial intelligence, education, and experience. That's why you should start small. The third asset class is paper, which is stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and savings. And that's where most people are at. And the fourth is commodities, oil, gas, sugar, cotton, corn. And so I decided that I was going to be very good at real estate, entrepreneurship, commodities. And so today, that's all I invest in. I've been doing it since I was a kid. It was a long time ago when we first started Millennial Money. And I made my usual wise-ass remark, only lazy people use their own money. And that's because I have spent much of my life raising capital. Today you have crowdfunding and all that stuff. But the reason I had to learn to raise money was because I had no money. Never say I can't afford it. And it was my rich dad and many of my teachers subsequent to that said, lazy people always say I can't afford it. I don't have the money. That's why they're poor. They have a poor mindset. So instead of figuring out how to raise money, it's just really easy to be a loser. And I call it losers. It pisses them off. Because we all have the power, if we wanted to not be poor if we learned how to raise money. So I hear, and the reason I get upset, I still get hot with this. My poor dad, my PhD father, he always said to me, he says, I'd be a rich man if I didn't have you kids. And I said, well, Dad, not my fault you had kids. I just can't afford it because I have kids. And the more he said that, the angrier I got. So when I met my rich dad at age 9, he says, well, that's why your old man's poor, because he's lazy. He thinks his PhD is going to carry him. He says, everybody can say, I don't have money, I can't afford it. He says, that's why he's poor. He's lazy. But my father kept going back to school, Stanford, University of Chicago, Northwestern. He never learned any of this stuff. They still don't know it because most teachers want a paycheck, pension, and tenure. They want job security. So the mindset is different. And that's what they teach the kids. I could make money 24/7 without working. That was a difference. So what you'll be learning about this today is how we make money 24/7 without working. To me, that makes a lot more sense than working hard all the time. The basics of financial education begins with this, with literacy, is it begins with an income statement and a balance sheet. This is the fundamental if you're going to be wealthy. And if you look over here, after mission, it's cash flow. This is basically accounting, CFOs, auditing departments. So as a young boy, that's when my rich dad started me on this. He says, if you can manage this, you'll always be a rich man, no matter what happens to you. So this here is income, expense, asset, liability. Where people get mixed up is they call their house an asset. And he says, that's the problem. They call their car an asset. This is income. This is income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. Okay, so the game is teaching you, the kids version, intermediate version, advanced version. It's teaching you while you're having fun. So very simply, my rich dad said, assets put money in your pocket. So this is the cash flow pattern of an asset. It goes from the asset, it could be a house I rent out. Okay, so assets put money in your pocket whether you work or not. So what's the definition of an asset? Assets what? Put money in your pocket whether you work or not. One more time. Assets what? Put money in your pocket whether you work or not.